Hello, I'm Sean. Welcome to Uco Whites. Okay, today, reports coming out yesterday. Obviously, the shareholders have put up to 120 million back into the club, invested that into the club, which is great news. But I wanted to sort of look at a little bit more into it. It doesn't mean we've got that money to spend. It is going towards obviously the ground and player acquisitions. But it's not just that as well. There's other things we've got to look at before I got too excited thinking, we got the money. We got the money. So I just picked this off the Athletic. So bear with me. I will read through it, but I will stop to give you my take on certain parts. Right, so the Athletic reported on Monday that the Whites, who will be playing their trade back in the Premier League next season, are to have funds pumped into the business through fresh equity, with the owners having reached out to the shareholders after the promotion was sealed last month. So they've asked some to put in, some didn't, some have. All right, they had a figure in mind, and that's what they've hit. It is well-trodden path for football club owners, with clubs such as Aston Villa, Chelsea and Nottingham Forest having made such moves this past season. Due to Leeds having spent the last 2 seasons in the Championship, the club will be permitted to lose just a 61 million for 24-25. When looking at the rolling 3-year cycle that the Premier League's Profit and Sustainability Rules, PSR, have in place, Leeds isn't thought to be in danger of breaching the figure thanks to some excellent player trading and budget management when they were relegated back in 2023. That's down to the 49ers. You know, they're really savvy, by the sounds of it, with the finances. They push it to the limit, but they don't want to go over, which is great to hear. A fresh share issue won't be impactful for Leeds when it comes to PSR, but it will enable the club to press ahead with more additions and meet existing transfer debt obligations. There's obviously we're still owe for some transfers basically, and we need capital to be able to pay for them. Obviously, you're paying installments for players, so some of that money will go towards that. Leeds transfer debt for 2023 and 24 stood at 142 million, but down significantly from the 190 million it was the previous year. Given the significant exits last summer, so Rutter, Somerville, Gray, it will likely have been reduced once more, while transfer receivables, what were due from other clubs in transfer installments, will have risen from the 69 million it was in 23-24. So obviously player sales, we had big player sales last season, money coming in, and also money from other transfers in previous years. That's to me what it sounds like is coming in as well. In 23-24, 49ers Enterprises provided 141 million in share capital to reduce 164 million cash deficit. Wow. And it ended that 23-24 financial year, the club had 3.5 million in terms of cash in the bank. Don't read too much into that. That make it sound like we've got no money, but back in 23-24. But we will have done. That will likely have risen in 24-25, but with the club planning on redeveloping their home and needing to pay installments for transfer fees, both existing and new, the fresh share issue makes sense. So, well, it'll touch on now. Cash is king. You still need money to put down on certain things, which it does go into. For accounting purposes, transfer fees are amortized over the life of a player's contract, set at a maximum of 5 years. So, say it's £10 million player over 5 years, that's 2.5 million per year. While the money recouped from player sales can be booked immediately, which is great in its entirety, but these are just numbers on a balance sheet. There is real money that needs to change hands. and that often requires upfront payments. So you do, or 2 or 3 installments over a couple of years. Every club does that. We all know that transfer fee. You could buy a player for 30 million, 10 million over 3 years. It is likely that there will be a few things that need to be paid in the coming months that require there to be a significant amount of cash at hand, something that can be detrimental to cash flow if occurring close together. So it says there, starting redevelopment work requires cash outlay. You've got to be putting money down if we want to start work on certain projects, i.e. the stadium, while initial payments for new players, signing on fees and agent fees and upfront sums for transfers. Yes, there we go. And it's, player wages, like it says there, sign-on fees, agent fees are a big one. We know that from last season. I think we're about 18 million, wasn't it? And obviously down payments on the transfers. At a time where there's no games and no cash flow, this means that owners often have to step in to bridge the gap. Not all owners are willing to inject their own capital into clubs, but for those that do, the benefit lies in that there is no cost of borrowing, as there would be if they went to a financial institution. Stay away from that. This is what I like about this ownership group. We don't need to do that. We don't need to be going borrowing off banks or whatever and paying massive interest fees. Good to hear. At present, the cost of capital is significantly higher than it was, and using third-party lenders is an expensive move. Again, we know that interest rates are stupid. In pumping a further 120 million to the club via a new share issue, it allows for 49ers enterprises and club shareholders to avoid doing that, while also demonstrating a commitment to Leeds United's cause for the long term. So, in a nutshell, it doesn't mean we've got 120 million extra to spend on transfers or the stadium. Part of it will go to that. Part of it will obviously go to agent fees, existing transfers that we still owe money for. We don't know. We don't. That's all behind the scenes. But it's welcome. It's a welcome addition. It is obviously going to free up extra money. So 150, 130, 150 million, we look like we're going to be spending on player transfers. It does mean we might have that little bit extra too. Plus any transfers that any sales that we do, which it sounds like we may have to. As much as these players have got us into the Premier League, we're going to have to be ruthless. Some players might have to go. As an example, Pascal Stroik. We sell him for 25 million. That's pure profit. Yeah, it's pure profit. We got him in as a youngster, didn't we? So things like that are going to still need to be done. It don't mean we don't have to sell anybody. So that's my take. That's just what I want to touch on that, because it was very exciting last night. I'm thinking, we've got 200 million to spend. Maybe we have, depending on player sales. But it's good to see that the club are doing things in the right way for me, and they're not jeopardising us. If it does all go wrong, we did get relegated out of the Premier League, and we had a massive financial debt to a bank or anything like that. That would be hard times, and we don't want to see that back at Leeds United. Right, I want to report on a few other things, player transfers. Firstly, this Solomon. So I've been reading about Solomon. It sounds like it's good news, but I'll read the article again. Leeds have now been given a momental double lift over their chances of signing the winger after his agent, Shlomi Ben Ezra, dismissed the idea of the player opting for a move to France over the Premier League. Furthermore, the notion of signing for Marseille appears to have been taken out of the question for political reasons, which is a shame, but good for us. De Zerbi sent a message to Mano, but he told him that he could not play for Marseille for political reasons. Fine. That's good for us. It's difficult to play in another league when you've had a taste for the Premier League. Ben Ezra told Latin Sport it's difficult to play in another league when you've had a taste of the Premier League. Mano is having a great time at Leeds, but he's under contract with Spurs. He likes the Premier League, But in football, you'll never know. It all depends on what Daniel Levy wants to do. He's a tough taskmaster, but I don't think he's in the plans. But then if Ange Postecoglou gets sacked and a new manager comes in, he may fancy Manor Solomon, so they may keep him. But I think in Daniel Levy's eyes, he wants to get rid. Mano likes English football and would prefer the Premier League, but in football, I've said that already. In addition to Ben Ezra's claims, TalkSport's transfer correspondent Fraser Fletcher also has been told that Solomon is fully prepared to give priority to Leeds this summer, having settled in the north Leeds area of the city with his fiancée, and with the pair having been spotted around the Kosher Bakers in street in round here, whatever. But there was, I think there was reports that his wife's happy, his family's happy, which is great to see. Furthermore, we understand that Spurs are very much open to players' sales as they look to generate funds for a crucial transfer window of their own. They want to strengthen in multiple areas, and that will happen regardless of whether under fire manager Postecoglou stays or goes, which is again good. They are going to need money to raise for, like it says, for better players. They've struggled this season and they need to do it. We also understand that they are open 25-year-old sale for a figure of around 15 to 20 million, and sources understand a deal which has already been discussed between the two clubs could be struck for around that lower figure, with incentives and bonuses potentially around Leeds survival in the Premier League, taking the fee towards the upper figure. Perfect. That is perfect, and that's what it probably would be. You'd be 15 million outlay down. If we stay up, another 5 million next season, something like that. And again, that's music to my ears. I think it's a no-brainer. We get Manor Solomon. We know what he's about. He has got the Premier League experience, and he's got the ability as well. And I think he's proven his fitness this season. He did obviously have the odd niggle and now and again, but it looks like he's over the worst of his injuries. So for me, 15 million, put that down on Manor Solomon with incentives. If we stay up, no brainer. Wages should not be a problem either. Moving on to apologies for that. Moving on. Okay. Tsimikas. This one looks like it has got legs. Reports flying all over that apparently, and I think it was Joe Blackburn obviously reporting it, that talks are already underway. Contract talks are already underway. But I will read this article for you. According to BBC Sport, Leeds have opened contract talks with Firpo ahead of competing in the Premier League for the first time since 2020, which is good news. I would like him to stay Firpo. I'm not saying as a starter, but as another option. But regardless of the Dominican Republic International's future, Tsimikas could be an excellent signing for the Whites, who has proven his worth for Liverpool despite largely just deputising for Robertson. That would be hard for anybody to get in front of Robertson at Liverpool. He's made 140 appearances for the Reds since joining from Olympiacos in the summer of 2020 and has won the Premier League title, one FA Cup and 2 Carabao Cups. Tsimikas boasts the sort of quality, the top flight experience that Leeds need as they battle to avoid an unwanted return to the Championship next summer. Agreed. We've said this time and time again. We need Premier League experience. It's massive for any club coming up. It really is. The gap between the Premier League and the second tier has widened in recent years, as demonstrated by the relegation of Leicester City, Ipswich and Southampton. We can't struggle like them. We really can't. And we need to be signing the right sort of player. It looks like Southampton really wasted a lot of money, and that's picking just them out. They wasted a lot of money last season on players that really were not Premier League quality. Since joining Liverpool, Tsimikas has demonstrated his value as both a defensive and offensive asset. So now we're going to get into more of his style. As of 24-25 season, he'd made over 50 appearances for the Reds in various competitions, while he's primarily known as a backup to Robertson. Tsimikas has played a key role in rotation, stepping up in the absence of a Scottish counterpart and contributing to Liverpool's Squad. His ability to contribute offensively with assists, particularly through his quality of crosses, has been a standout feature of his game. He's known for his dangerous delivery into the box, whether from open play or set pieces, making him a constant threat on the left flank. Music to my ears. We need a good set piece taker. Corners, free kicks. All right, look, we had Solomon, Gruev, Rothwell, all taking them last season. They weren't the best. And we know the Premier League player is next level, more accurate. We saw it a lot more from Solomon. A lot of his crosses were inch perfect this season. The fact it'd be a left footer, being able to deliver them balls in to say a big target man, promise David, would be ideal. And it's something we massively lack in our squad. Tsimikas is a modern fullback whose style of play fits the high-pressing, attacking-oriented system employed by Liverpool. His work rate, technical ability, and crossing accuracy are among the most notable strengths. I'd love to see that about his work rate. He can get up and down, which we'll touch on. Crossing and offensive contributions. Tsimikas is an excellent crosser of the ball, and his ability to deliver precise balls into the box is one of his standout features. His quality from wide areas has been key in creating chances for Liverpool, especially when rotating with Robertson. Defensive solidity. Now, this is what we like as well. We've got to be good at both, which is what Firpo lacks. He's great going forward. It's just questionable defensively, especially last time in the Premier League. So, despite being more known for his attacking contributions, Tsimikas is also a solid defender. He's adept at making interceptions, blocking crosses, and challenging opponents in one-on-one situations, which is key. Versatility and work rate. Tsimikas is known for his high work rate and versatility. He can operate as an attacking fullback, but also understands his defensive responsibilities. His relentless runs up and down the left flank, showing his stamina and determination. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. He sounds like a baller. It's exactly what we need. Someone who's, defensively sound, but quality going forward. Quality crosses, quality corners, quality free kicks, left footer. That's what we need. It's what we need. And that's very exciting. And if reports are true, that we're going to get this guy over the line in in June. Wow, in June. Let's do it. Don't mess about. Let's do it. Other news. Just seen about Bamford. Now, guys, I don't know what's happening with Bamford. It don't look like Wrexham are going to be going in for him. Wrexham director Humphrey Kay, he was on with Chris Moyles, Radio X, and he's made it clear in an interview that Wrexham are not looking at Bamford and they're not looking at Jamie Vardy. Obviously, a bit like Leeds now in the Premier League, and they'll be linked to every man and the dog. Wrexham are the same in the Championship at the minute. They're being linked to everybody. But he was asked on the Radio X by Chris Moyles, and he said no to Bamford, no to Vardy. Is it a smokescreen? I'm not so sure. Can they afford Bamford's wages? I mean, Bamford's wage, he'll go back up to 70 grand a week now. We're back in the Premier League for another year. We could have him. The only way I could see Bamford leaving is depending on what strikers we sign. If we sign another 2 strikers, then there's going to be no place for Bamford, I don't think. But is Bamford, which is the worry for me, I think he's the sort of player or the sort of person who'll just sit and get the money. He'll take the money for the next 12 months and then he'll move on. Or is he going to surprise me and want to actually go out and play some football? MLS, somewhere else, Championship, and take a bit of a wage cut. MLS may be able to afford some of his wages. I don't know. Or do we buy him out? We just pay him off, pay his contract up and get him off the books. Another option. So that was going to be an interesting one to see. Also, just on Kelleher, I've just seen this as well about Kelleher. It looks like Aston Villa are in for him as well. which would be a stumbling block for Leeds. I did a video yesterday, and I wasn't too hyped about Kelleher, but he's apparently highly rated, and the fact that Aston Villa want to look at him, it does. Well, Emiliano Martinez could leave Villa, which would be a big loss for them, and then it would be some big gloves to fill. Obviously, he's a quality goalkeeper. He's Martinez. So it does look like they may be in for Kelleher as well. So I may be wrong about Kelleher. Obviously, if clubs like Aston Villa are looking at him, then again, it'd be tough for us to get that over the line. They would obviously have the outlay to put maybe 40 million down, which we do not want to be signing a goalkeeper for 40 million. 20 million max for me. But yeah, it's one to watch, is that. So I hope you've liked this video. Please like and subscribe. I keep forgetting to say that, but it would be nice. Just hit the subscribe button, like the video. Please comment as well. Leave a comment and your views, and I will speak to you soon. Cheers.